Hello everyone and welcome to Wheel Footy, the longest running wheelchair football show on YouTube. Probably. This is now officially a series, so yay, let's get right into the action. So, an update from the West. The final series was only 1 week long. This means that Harvey, Brunswick and Leschenault are your SWFL champions. Congratulations to them. This also means there's basically no wheelchair news coming out of WA until September, so that sucks. The action's back on in Queensland though after a bye week last week. Ormeau, Redcliffe and Beenleigh played twice whilst Mount Gravatt and Morningside played just the one match. Beenleigh and Redcliffe opened proceedings and Beenleigh rather predictably continued their winless run. Ormeau then won by forfeit over Mount Gravatt in a result that has huge finals implications. This meant that Beenleigh then got fed straight back into the wood chipper, managing only one behind in a 77-point loss to a somewhat wasteful Morningside forward rotation. Ormeau then faced Redcliffe, winning easily with Paul and James Letters combining for 12 majors, putting the former 1 goal up on Michael Dobby Bridges from Morningside in the leading scorers race. MDB's teammate Josh Boyle is equal in second after scoring only 4 this week. With 1 round to go before the finals, the ladder is fairly elementary, unfortunately. A still undefeated Morningside have increased their already video game level percentage. They won't be caught. Ormeau is in second, but they have a superior percentage over Mount Gravatt, who are 1 win behind them. And although Mount Gravatt do have 2 games in the upcoming round, Ormeau will play Beenleigh. So that basically means an automatic win, and that's all locked up. 4th place will therefore go to Redcliffe and Beenleigh. I hope they get a win in the final week, but I just don't see it happening, unfortunately. So the final series is a 2-week affair. I don't know the structure. I believe it's 1v4 and 2v3, but I'll let you guys know when the time comes. There's still, of course, 1 week of regular matches to come. The VWFL saw Richmond taking on St Kilda in perhaps a preview of the grand final. Hawthorn also played Collingwood in the other match, and let's cover that one first because this was a total walkover. Collingwood never remotely got challenged in a 133-point thumping. Shout out to Sam Moraldo, who after coming close with 9 last week, finally got their first recorded 10-goal haul. 4 different Pies didn't just score, they scored as many or more goals than the Hawthorn team combined, as they dearly missed the presence of their own leading scorer this season, Yassine Hill. The other match was a thriller, easily the best of the round from all competitions. It was a goal-for-goal first term as Richmond's Chris Consantis and Ryan Smith from St Kilda engaged in a shootout. The Saints then dominated the second term, scoring 5 goals to 1 as Seb Welsh again provided an excellent second target up front. But then Angelo Mavroudis scored 5 goals in 5 minutes, bringing the gap to 1 point. Welsh increased the gap up the other end, but majors to each Tigers forward to close out the term gave Richmond a 4-point lead at three-quarter time. Kotsanis then began the final term with 2 goals, extending the margin to 15. Welsh closes the gap with a goal, and then the pressure gets to both sides. 2 behinds to both teams are the only scores for the next 4 minutes. Then Mavroudis scores a goal with 75 seconds remaining to ice it, and late St Kilda attacks can only close the margin back down to 8 at the final siren. By all accounts, it was an enthralling game, and if the grand final is anything like this, it will be well worth watching. Welsh was the lowest of the 4 goal scorers with 6, the other 3 all claiming 8, which preserves Kotsanis' lead at the top of the goal scoring tally. He's in front by 11 and is the only player at the moment to average more than 10 goals per game, which is ridiculous. Richmond's gap to St Kilda is now 2 wins, and these results narrow the gap between the Saints and the Pies. Collingwood now 1 win back, but with better percentage. Next week's Collingwood-Richmond game shapes as a huge finals order decider, as second place will score a finals double chance. And in the SANFL, the first match was set to be a stunner as the top of the table Central Districts faced the imperious Woodville West Torrens. It wasn't a stunner though. Steve Edge got 2 goals before most in the house could blink, and it really decayed from there. Centrals didn't really do anything wrong. It was just the Eagles were so able to just dominate possession and win more of the ball aerially. A 75-7 halftime score underlined the dominance, even with the Eagles not using a single sub. Centrals managed to even out the third term, 4-4, but the last was, again, a wash. Adam Rookie gets my nod for the best on, and hopefully I've pronounced his name correctly this time, over a 14-goal haul from Trevor Jarrett, whose effort left him absolutely exhausted and hobbling after the game. He threw everything he had into it. Rookie also managed 6 assists, including the highlight of the game in tapping directly to Jarrett for a goal in a ruck contest in the forward pocket. And although he wasn't as dominant in the ruck as last week, he got 5 of his own clearances. Realistically, all 5 Eagles who played were terrific, 4 of them getting over 90 ranking points. It was one to forget for Centrals, but Darren Peters stood out for me. Usually a fullback style player, he moved into the centre in the second half and really nullified Rookie's ruck work, making it a lot more difficult for the Eagles to get first use. In the end, Woodville West Torrens won 19-6, 120 to 6-2-38. But in terms of one-way traffic, we hadn't seen anything yet. I spoke to Norwood skipper Grant Leonard, and he was hoping that this match against West Adelaide could get the Redlegs back in good shape, the team feeling rather disappointed after last week's loss to Centrals. 6 possessions into the game, they had goal number 1, and they certainly didn't stop there. After the first 10-minute period, it was 55-1, and although West kicked off the second with a really nice open play goal from the centre bounce, their 2 goals that term would be their highest scoring quarter by far. That second term was a bit more inhibiting for Norwood, the score 85-14 at the half, but then fitness kicked in. In the reserves match beforehand, West had required 4 of their senior side to be on the field at any one time due to lower numbers, whereas Norwood only needed 2, rotating them through off-key positions to warm them up. This seemed to take a toll as Norwood now started to do as they pleased, conceding 1 point in the third but scoring 43. Jamie Smythe had 15 goals at three-quarter time and was set to challenge the league record of 17, of course set by Trevor Jarrett last week. The final term was more of the same, the score climbing up to 16-166 before perhaps the highlight of the game in Josh Wilson finding space out the back and launching an audacious long drive home for West, goaling pretty much as far out as he can. Smythe managed to find the ball once more for what the commentators seemed to think was his 19th goal, but I have him scoring 20, with Grant Leonard providing 6 of those to him through assists while scoring 8 himself. Regardless of hitting 19 or 20, he did so without missing once, although a couple of shots passed so close above the posts that the West defence argued their case for behinds unsuccessfully. The forward triumvirate of Norwood in Smythe and the brothers Leonard moved the ball around so well that they had more marks in their forward zone than West or Centrals had all game in all areas anywhere on the field. Smythe's performance was, of course, the standout of the game and the round, but for me the key to victory was in the hands of Rick Leonard, the midfielder failing to lose a single ruck duel thanks to his monstrous height. His 33 hitouts, 23 effective by my count, resulted in 18 clearances for Norwood, 7 of which he collected himself. Norwood's defence also failed to lose a one-on-one that night, with Chris Simpson's performance being particularly noteworthy considering he was only on the field for half the game, and Richard Davis being a rebounding force, picking up 8 by my count, the most of anyone in either round I've attended this season by my numbers. I must once again stress that my numbers are recorded in a dank notebook by a very cramping hand, so they're probably not 100% accurate, but the SNFL do keep stats, but I like to just use my own for, I guess, not posterity, but consistency. West, in their defence, put in a highly spirited performance. Jack Billsborough, their skipper, split his time between attack and defence, and wherever he was, West markedly improved in that zone. Only one other player the entire night combined for more rebounds and forward zone entries. Although he got demolished in the ruck, and by my pronunciation of his name coming up, I recorded young Dan having 8 tackles. No one else got near that mark. His tenacity was astounding. What he would do is he would pretty much deliberately lose the ruck contest to the much taller Leonard, but then pounce on whoever got the ball afterwards. It was a really effective tactic that provided a lot more pressure in that midfield, although Norwood just played so well that in the end it didn't particularly come to anything, but it's a really interesting strategy going forward. Perhaps that might work better against a team like Centrals. His midfield replacement in Tony Wade had some nice moments too, particularly in defence. He saved the day on a couple of times with sort of handballs when the ball was going out, trying to keep the ball alive. Very entertaining stuff. West are a project team though. With one of the smaller lists in the league, this side is a newborn as an institution compared to the 3 established sides who have been around for 5 years or more, and the first steps were always going to be full of beltings as they adjusted. Dan's an experienced hand and a good coach to lead them forward, but if they added a player like a Rookie or a Smythe, that changes everything and gives them a sort of base to move forward with, kind of like adding Gary Ablett to the Suns, if you know what I mean. So hopefully they're able to do that next season and create a more even distribution of talent potentially. Not saying that the West players are bad, it's just that they haven't got enough to fill out both sides, and that could be impacting their fitness going forward. They just need a bit more experience and to play together a bit more, because they're all from different clubs. They haven't played together as long as the other teams have. So once that comes, they'll get results. I think that they're due for a win this season. I reckon they could take Centrals potentially, maybe even Nord on a good day. I don't think they go winless this year. I think they produce a good result towards the end. So that makes the ladder real interesting. 3 teams sit on 8 points, just separated by percentages. So Norwood currently are at the top thanks to that staggering win and thanks to Central District's complete capitulation at the hands of the West Torrens, who now jump to second, still technically undefeated, even though they did forfeit that match just due to not having enough numbers in the first round. West sit bottom with a percentage that's not great, but realistically, under the circumstances, this was probably as good as they could expect the first 3 rounds to get. Also, West's president was in attendance that night and got to chat to her as well, and she's really, that whole club actually is just really passionate about the wheelchair game, which is so great to see. Like, that team wants to be involved, which is fantastic, and I think that attitude is going to serve them well moving forward. So one other thing I've decided to do in this second or indeed third week of the SANFL season is create a team of the week, put the players with the highest ratings points by position by my own rating system in a sort of best of team to just highlight good individual performances. So Jarrett and Smythe were just unstoppable, while Rick Leonard's Ruckcraft gets him the starting nod over Rookie. Norwood's Davis holds down a back spot, and so too does Siraj Habib, who seemed to really enjoy his first match against the side he played for last year. So with Rookie on the bench, the other 2 bench spots go to Grant Leonard as the forward and Dan, who played minutes in all positions and proved himself quite useful wherever he was placed. So that's Wheel Footy for another week. I'll continue to make this a weekly series, I think. I reckon I can manage it pretty well. I'd like to issue an apology for the Patreon members, because this series isn't going to be early access on Patreon or available on Patreon, just because I'm not going to be able to swing sort of time requirements for it. So this is just going to come out straight on YouTube on hopefully Tuesdays. At the moment I've got the time to make these episodes on Mondays and publish them so that they come out on Tuesdays. So that's going to continue going forward for the moment. And yeah, get out to your local wheelchair series. It's fun, fast, and more importantly, free and a good watch. People there are absolutely fantastic as well, particularly in SA. You'll find a great bunch of people there who are more than willing to onboard you and more than willing to find new players as well. Every team needs players, at least in SA, for either their senior or their junior divisions. There's always interest. So if you're wanting to sort of find out what the league is like, or indeed play yourself, contact your local state league, or Google, for example, if you're in Victoria, VFL Wheelchair, and you'll be able to find some contacts to your local teams and all that sort of deal. I'd recommend it. Anyway, that's more than enough. This has gone on for way longer than I thought, so I'll see you guys next week. Yes, weekly series. Never thought I'd do one of those.